Welcome to Quarantine with Clark, the show that asks West Dodge Station staff questions kids want to know, and some they probably don't. I'm your host, Mr. Clark, and my guest today is a very special guest. I am joined today by Mrs. Sidders, our incredible instructional facilitator, and our incoming principal for next year. Mrs. Sidders, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks, Mr. Clark.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. So I just want to ask you a few questions just so the kids of West Dodge Station can get to know you just a little bit better, okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. So first of all, where were you born and raised? Where were you born and raised?
I was born in a super teeny tiny town of 450 people named Edgar, Nebraska.
Really? Where's that at?
It is south central, kind of 45 minutes from everywhere. You can't get there unless you are purposely going there because it's off of like two major highways. You don't get there unless you're looking for it.
Oh, jeez. So so you said south central, so like Hastings, farther out?
About 45 minutes from Hastings. I went to a consolidated high school. That means they took a lot of the little towns around the area, and we had a high school out in the country where all of us traveled to go to high school and elementary every day.
Oh, wow. So I've heard of Edgar just for the simple fact I'm from Grand Island, so I know it's probably the same, I'm going to say region, but yeah, I honestly couldn't. I probably couldn't get there unless I used some GPS.
We have a famous candle factory in my hometown. That's about it.
Oh, really? Well, you've got that then.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have one brother that I grew up with all through my early childhood, and then when my mom got remarried, I got one stepbrother and 4 stepsisters.
Oh, so kind of a mini Brady Bunch.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's a lot.
Yeah. What about kids? Do you have any kids?
I have 3 kids. Channing is in 4th grade at West Dodge Station. She's 10. Knox is a 7-year-old first grader at West Dodge, and then Cannon is my 6-year-old kindergartner at West Dodge.
Awesome. So then obviously between the job as facilitator and traveling all over the place and then having 3 kids, you are definitely busy right now.
Yeah, they like to keep me on my toes for sure.
I figured. What about pets? Do you have any pets at home?
No pets. We have some allergies in the house, and I can't keep anything else alive right now, so.
So you're saying if somebody wants to give you a plant or something like that, make it a cactus?
Yeah, something that doesn't need much TLC.
Awesome. All right. So then what about hobbies? What hobbies do you have?
I love to work out. I like to run. Love to read anything. I read a lot. And then we like to just play games or play outside, kind of do those things. We like to go to parks, things like that when they open back up.
Yeah, when they open back up, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
So a hidden talent. Everybody has some sort of hidden talent tucked within them. What is your hidden talent that maybe people don't know about you?
See, I don't know if I have any, but I can quilt.
Oh,
I learned how to quilt in college randomly, so I can piece it together, and I've made a couple different blanket quilts and then a tree skirt, actually.
Really? See, that's a talent. Wait, don't say you don't have a talent. That's a great talent. And the fact that you learned it in college, did you who did you take a class? Did you learn it from somebody?
Yeah. So I ran track and cross country in college, and we had this term called interterm. It was January. You had to take 3 interterm classes. The 4th year I had to be there. I was a senior anyway, and I was at school anyway. So rather than hang out all day and wait until practice started, I just took a quilting class because it was offered, and I was at school anyway.
That is great. That might be one of the best stories I've heard, just for the simple fact, usually when you think of some of those skills like quilting and crocheting and knitting and everything, it's something where you learn it from your grandma, when you were a little kid. You were college, you were an adult, you were in college. That's awesome. So other than getting married and having kids, what would you say has been the most exciting moment of your life?
Probably there are a lot of exciting things even in the recent months, but I'm a track nerd. I love watching track meets. I like the end of track meets. and probably my favorite moment, I was on a track team as a freshman where we traveled to Canada for outdoor
Wow.
nationals. And at the very end, like we were tied in points with this other team, the women's team, and it came down to the last relay, which is always the 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't even on the 4x4, but that was the most exciting because of just the suspense and just the dynamics of a 4x4. And then to win, we won the outdoor national championship based on by like 2 points based on that 4x4.
That's cool. Yeah, that definitely is definitely some excitement.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, and just the fact that it was not even in this country, you went to another country and won that big of a competition. That's pretty cool. All right. So growing up, obviously in a small town, maybe the choices weren't necessarily broad, but what was one of maybe the strangest or oddest jobs you did, or what were just some of the jobs that you did growing up?
Yeah, see, I was thinking about that. I didn't have a lot of odd jobs. I did a lot of farm type jobs, detasseling, roguing with either a corn knife or sometimes we just went out in the rows and pulled the weeds. I did work at the candle factory for just a little bit.
Of course.
Because everybody in town kind of did that every now and again. I had an interesting job in college where I set up the tours for incoming seniors that wanted to come to Doane. They would put down who they wanted to speak to based on what they were interested in, like biology or education. And I would then contact the professors and set up the tours and make sure they could touch base with some professors and see different classrooms in action. So that was interesting. I met pretty much every professor on campus.
That's awesome. That would be kind of fun. I would like to do some organizing and doing stuff like that. That'd be kind of scheduling. I'm going to sound like a dork, but I love scheduling. And I love, well, and again, I've said it several times and people laugh at me. I love spreadsheets. So scheduling is like one of those things where I kind of look at it and go, oh, I could do that. Okay. Going on to the next question. If you were doing any other job outside of education, what job would you want to do?
I've always wanted to own a children's bookstore, and I even know the name of it.
Really?
It would be called Books and Crannies because there would be little areas around the store where you could sit and read your book.
That is great. That would Books and Crannies. So, and again, some of the interviews have been released already. Some of them haven't. But we have a few people on staff that have ideas for bookstore / coffee shop. And even mine from yesterday was my wife and I, and even with Mrs. Edick and some other people, a coffee shop / bookstore / place where animals, you can interact with, like dogs and cats and stuff. And I don't know if they have them as much in the United States, but overseas they actually have restaurants and little coffee shops that you can go into and you interact with animals.
Cool.
So if this teaching thing doesn't work out,
right,
we have something to fall back on.
Yep.
All right. Okay, moving on to some of the goofier questions. So the first one, superpowers. Would you rather have the ability to fly or invisibility?
Fly, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what a lot of people have said.
Yeah.
Just the travel, getting from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
Next, do you sing loudest in the shower, in the car, or both equally as loud?
I sing a lot of places, actually, to be honest. I'm not a great singer, but I sing a lot of places. But one place I do not sing is the shower. I will sing after I get out, like getting dressed or getting ready, but I don't sing in the shower. I sing in the car all the time, and I sometimes dance and embarrass my kids. And
oh, absolutely. You have to. I think if you're going to sing in the car and your kids are in there, it's a requirement to embarrass them.
For sure.
Okay. So then, if you do sing, or if you go sing karaoke, what would be your go-to karaoke song?
I love an 80s. My favorite song is the 80s song "Take on Me" by a-ha.
Oh, yeah. Can you hit the high notes, though? That's the question, because those notes are insanely high.
I feel like I can. I'm sure that people listening don't feel like I'm as good at it as I think I am.
I'm going to be honest. When I was in high school, I was in the high school singing group, and I could hit those high notes. Today, no, I could not hit those high notes. So when it comes to that part of the song, I am singing along, but I just stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So now getting into the lightning round, I'm going to ask you a series of questions rather quickly. I want you to answer as quickly as you possibly can, but they're all about your favorite things, so it should be really, really easy. All right?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. What is your favorite food and drink?
Tacos and Fit Aid.
Not Fit Aid? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I like Gatorade?
It's a healthier drink, and they sell it at like Hy-Vee in the health section. It's got a little bit of carbonation in it, but I feel like I'm healthy when I'm drinking it.
Oh, I've never heard. I might have to give it a shot. Okay, what is your favorite word?
Sarsaparilla.
The old time pop. That's great.
Yeah.
It's fun to say. What I love this part of the interview. What is your favorite sound?
Silence. No.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Lack of sound. No, so growing up in the country, super small town, there is a moment like at dusk where it's pretty quiet, but you can hear some different country type sounds. I love that. I love just like, it's not the same as the sounds of the city, not the cars and different noise like that. It's more nature sounding.
That is a great answer. I know exactly. I mean, again, I know exactly what you're talking about. The crickets coming out, the frogs, some of the different animals. That's great.
Yeah, some cicadas in there.
Yes, absolutely. What is your favorite smell?
Cookies.
Yes. Favorite type of music?
I like it all. I like a variety. I like 80s music. I run to certain kinds of music. Sometimes I even like rock. I listen to country because that's what I listened to growing up. So I pretty much like everything.
Nice. Sorry, I've got a cat that's meowing extremely loud right now. Sorry. What is your favorite place to visit?
My mom's house. It slows down a lot. They have cattle, so we go out and the kids like to go out and run on the tops of the hay bales and see the cows. She's got a little pond where we can kayak and fish, and there's just a lot of fun experiences that I miss from growing up.
Awesome. And then finally, who is your favorite fifth grade teacher named Clark?
There's just so many options, really, that
You're taking way too long. I'm a little worried about that.
Mr. Clark.
Oh, there we go. That's the correct answer. All right. Fantastic. Well, I just have a couple more questions before we finish. First of all, what have you been doing? And obviously, I think from answering the earlier questions about the kids and teaching and everything, I know the answer to this, but what have you been doing to beat the boredom during social distancing?
We've been doing a lot of online schoolwork. Just because the 3 kids all have a certain schedule, and we've been trying to stick to a schedule so that by mid-afternoon they're done with everything, so we can go outside and enjoy the nice days. I've been still working out, and then we actually play a lot of games. We played Uno Flip for the first time last night.
Great game.
It's a great game. It gets high ranks from my family.
Awesome. And then finally, I'm getting bombarded with pets. Finally, what would you like to say to the kids of West Dodge Station?
Oh, just that I miss seeing your faces, and I know that you're all doing a really great job working hard for your teachers. We will all come back together again, and it will be amazing to see everybody and just to go back to doing school together so that we can get the best part out of school, which is seeing each other and having those relationships.
Fantastic. All right. I just want to give a huge thank you to Mrs. Sidders for joining me today. Obviously, I've got a couple of co-hosts. Visit us again next time for Quarantine with Clark. See you soon.